Hello and welcome back to The Curious Senior. I'm Shar and I'm glad you're staying curious. Today's video is going to involve a real-life walkthrough using ChatGPT. We'll start with how to set up an account and then we'll go through safety features, how to use some of the other features in ChatGPT, and tips and tricks to make the most out of your experience when you're online. Now, I'm not going to get into the reasons why you should use AI. I already did that in my previous videos, and if you want, you can check them on the playlist. So let's get into it. Okay, to get onto ChatGPT, it's pretty simple. You just log into chatgpt.com in your search bar, and you'll see a screen like this. It does ask you, do you want to sign up for free or the option to log in? But you don't have to do either. You can just simply start asking questions if you want to. Most people will choose to set up an account because there are advantages. It saves your searches, etc. And if you want to use it quite often, it's convenient not to have to repeat yourself. So you go to this login here, and I've already got an account. So we'll go through that and you can see what you see next. So once you're logged in, you get a screen that looks like this. What's on your mind today? And if you look down at the bottom here, there's a little circle that has your initials in it, and that's where your account information is stored. So we're going to click on that and see what's available. So when you click on that, a menu opens up, and the thing we're interested in here is settings. Click on that, and we'll see where we go. Okay, once you hit on settings, it comes up with a menu, and what we're interested in is this one here, data controls. Now, that seems to be the concern of most people, but most people don't know that you can really control whether you want to give ChatGPT any information at all. So let's get into that now. This is the area where you can shut off or manage what kind of data you want to give ChatGPT. Mine is set here to on, but you can certainly switch it off. I'll show you what that looks like. When you come to this screen, it says model improvement. All you have to do is there is a toggle switch. Switch it off if you don't want to share your data. It's that simple. You also see one below that that says voice. If you do use the voice option here in ChatGPT, you can also switch off whether it includes your audio or video recordings. So that's simple. Just press done and it's over. Besides that, if you take a look down this screen, you can manage any of the links that you use, any of the chats that have been archived. You can archive all of your chats. You can also delete all your chats. You can export all your data and then delete all your chats. So if you're really concerned about your data, you have plenty of control. Another thing people don't realize is up in the top right-hand corner, there's this circle here. Let's see if we can point it out there, which is basically ChatGPT's incognito mode. In other words, you can do a search and it doesn't share your data at all. So if you only want to come in once in a while, you don't want to worry about all that those settings, just click on there and start your work. Now, certainly a lot of people just jump onto ChatGPT and start doing some work. But if you really want to get the best out of it, it pays to personalize it. That's why we suggest you go down, click on your name here. So we clicked on our name and the little menu popped up, and you can see that there's an option here that says personalization. We're going to go into that now. Now, within the personalization window, there's a lot of great things that you can do to make it really respond to you in the way that you want. For instance, under base, style, and tone, if you click on the default, you'll see you have many options. You can have it be more professional, have it be friendly, have it be cynical. You choose. Also, you can choose characteristics. Do you want it to be warm, or less warm, enthusiastic. And you might want to tone this down because it tends to make everything sound like it's a great idea. So I would probably choose less on this. On headers and lists, you can have it make a really complicated document for you or a really simple document just by saying less, and it'll automatically format for you in whatever you chose. Of course, emojis, I don't really like emojis, so I choose less. Now, custom instructions is pretty interesting. As a senior, you might want ChatGPT to explain things to you really simply and slowly. I mean, perhaps you're a fast learner, but a lot of people need a little bit more time as they get up in their years. And this is where you can say things like, please explain in very simple language that a 5-year-old could understand. I mean, that's an exaggeration, but you get the idea. You can also scroll down. You can tell ChatGPT how you want it to address you. You can tell it a little bit about your background and what you're doing now and why you want to use ChatGPT. It's really up to you how much information you give to it. But it does get to know what you do and what you like and what you prefer. Now with memory here, it's automatically references to your saved memories on your account, but you can also ask it to reference your chat history. And what that does is if you, let's say you're working on something like you're asking ChatGPT to create a training plan for you for exercise, it can go back into what it's already given you so that it doesn't repeat itself, so it can give you new exercises every single day. Now, you don't really have to concern yourself too much about this because you can always edit what it saves under the Manage Memories tab that I showed you earlier. So you're always free to edit what it's keeping and what it's not. Now, for those of you that are lousy typers or you have a disability and you can't type well, you'll be happy to know that ChatGPT actually has a voice capability. So you see over here, this strange looking icon here, you click on that and talk, and then it'll write for you. What tires does a 2025 Toyota RAV4 LE use, and how much do they cost in my area of Vancouver, British Columbia?
The 2025 Toyota RAV4 LE uses two 25/65 R17 tires. In Vancouver, British Columbia, tire prices range from about $135 to $255 Canadian dollars each, depending on the brand, with a full set typically costing between $680 and $1,020 before taxes and installation.
Now you can see at the bottom here, there's a little box that says sources. If you tap on that, it opens up a sidebar so you can confirm the information if things seem like they're not right. Because ChatGPT can make mistakes. It does something called hallucinations sometimes. So always verify the sources. Now, before you jump in and start doing things, I suggest you use a feature that you can find here where this icon is here, this ChatGPT icon. Click on it and it opens up and it brings up something called projects. Now once you click on that, it opens up another page and you can put a name in for whatever you're going to be working on. And I suggest you do this because most people work on more than one thing when they're on ChatGPT. You might be working on finance, you might be working on buying a new car, you might be working on fitness. Whatever it is, if you put it all just piled into ChatGPT, it makes it much harder to find what you're looking for. If you put it into projects, it's like a file folder. You can find things. In this case, we're going to do a real life run through on a car purchase. Press Create Project. And there we go. It's given us this header, car project, and it's also on the sidebar. Now under here, I'm going to input a prompt that I wrote already. And I'm asking it, I'm giving it a lot of information because I want a lot out of this chat. And I'm also telling it how I want it to provide me the information. In this case, I've told it I want it to give me a table to compare a 2025 Toyota RAV4 hybrid to a 2025 Honda CR-V hybrid. I've asked it to give me a lot of information on a lot of different things. I've also asked it to give me pricing that includes the regional and federal taxes, and I told it where I live. And I also asked it to check for any known issues like recalls and overall, expert and customer reviews and any rebates that might happen in my area. Okay, let's click the button and see what happens. Now it's searching the web. That maybe took 3 seconds at the most. And here's what it came up with. A 2025 comparison table, which is an overview of everything. And it's addressing all the things that I asked for: technology, interior, powertrain, safety, trim levels, pricing. It's talking about tax, but it's giving here before taxes and fees, and it's got a little number beside it. Final pricing, customer, expert reviews. But now it gets into the real nitty-gritty. That was just an overview. It gives you for each different trim in Canada, in my area, what taxes are, what rebates are available. This is really important information if you're spending a lot of money, and especially if you're buying an EV, because if you want to get a rebate or whatever. And when I came down here, I found out some interesting things like rebates are limited in BC. You can't get them. A lot of Canadian rebates are only for plug-in type hybrids. You get the idea anyway. But the one thing I noticed it didn't do is it didn't give me the price with tax. And of course, here at the bottom it says, if you want, I can break this down into per trim pricing and total out-of-the-door cost estimates for my area, including tax and possibly typical dealer fees. Well, yes, I want you to give me that, please. Thank you. That's all I have to write. And here it goes. Let's see how long it takes. 1, 2, 3, maybe 6 seconds. And here we go. Pricing for my area. Estimated out-the-door price. Please note, there's long wait lists in BC for these. There's fewer trim options. There's standard hybrids do not qualify for federal rebates. Interesting information. Fuel economy. Then it kind of gives you a great overview of the considerations like taxes are not insurance, resale value, which has a better edge. And then it tells you so much information. You can go on to, compare how much it'll cost you over 5 years. Compare with another model of car. And if you want to do that, you don't have to leave this chat. Let's say you want to compare the RAV4 hybrid to another one. You can click on those 3 dots and say, branch in a new chat, and it'll keep continuing the conversation. It's really quite amazing. Well, I hope you enjoyed that walkthrough, and it gives you a pretty good idea of the kind of things that ChatGPT can do for you. I want to remind you that when you interact with ChatGPT, try to use normal language. Don't try to use fancy language. You can actually use AI if you have a problem writing prompts. Write out a rough one and then say, please help me improve this so I get better results, and it'll do it for you. If you like this video, please hit the thumbs up button and subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this. The Curious Senior is all about tech for seniors, but it applies to anybody who wants to learn valid information about new technologies. Thanks, and we'll hope to see you again. Bye. I almost forgot. My next video is about more things that AI can do for you and how it can help you in your life. So look forward to seeing you again on the next video. Bye for now.